here. We are talking about the thriving gut today, so let's get started. Like I said, my name is Shayna Maud. I am a mom of two. I'm really happy that you're here. And I said a lot of this stuff over the past 20 minutes, but I just want to highlight some key things. I want everyone to, for one, to thank you for being here. Thank you for being an active participant. I want you to make sure you thank Dr. Monaco for putting this conference together. But let's get into it because we don't have that much time anymore. So my name is Shayna Maud. I am a mom of two. I am a plant-based enthusiast. I encourage the consumption of all plants. I am certified in plant-based nutrition. I'm a firm believer of the holistic self, your overall essence, your body, and your soul vibration, okay? And this presentation is presented to you via my company, Body Soul Vibration. At the end of the day, we're only given one body, and I understand it's very important to speak about other aspects of healing from mindfulness and meditation, but we cannot forget what's going on inside of our body and not just focus on the outside of our body. So before we start talking about the gut, I wanted to give you guys a little more information about me. And just my current healing journey. So I've been on many different healing journeys throughout my lifetime, but this current healing journey has lasted over the span of 5 years, and it's still going. I'm still going strong. So my plant-based journey, it did begin during my pregnancy in 2019. I was pregnant with my daughter, basically at 18 weeks pregnant, after researching and figuring out why my body and why I experienced certain immunity disorders and certain pH imbalances and just things like that, and anemia, and just so much that I was going through internally. You couldn't really see it on the outside, but I was going through it internally. So yeah, so after learning about all of the things, I was like, oh my gosh, this makes sense. I was able to make that correlation as to why I was feeling like crap internally, and my actual gut health, which is why I'm here to talk about the thriving gut. So at 18 weeks pregnant, myself and my partner at the time, we went cold turkey. We did it together. We went cold turkey and we started eating more plants, and we actually were 100% plant-based. So no dairy, no meat, no animal protein, none of that. So throughout that journey, I was documenting that journey via social media and just talking to my friends and family. And of course, I was pregnant at the time. So a lot of people, they had questions and they were asking me this, that, and the third. Hey, Shayna, how do you do X, Y, Z? Or how do we do this, that, and the third? So I started offering plant-based goods and services to the community. And specifically, I was selling sea moss, raw sea moss gel, and I was making herbal teas. And that was a huge success because those were the tools that I had in my tool belt that has helped me that helped me at the beginning of my journey and has been helping me still throughout this 5-year healing journey that I'm currently on. So fast forward to 2020, I successfully gave birth to my daughter. That was an in-home, unassisted home birth. That's a whole nother story for a whole nother time. But yeah, so that was a success. And just a magical experience. Fast forward to 2021, myself and my partner at the time, we co-authored a book. It's called The Secret to the Fountain of Youth. And that book, actually I have it right here, The Secret to the Fountain of Youth. That book actually talks about using sea moss and sea vegetables as, basically like a superfood, like it's highly nutritious. All plants are highly nutritious, but we focus mainly on sea vegetables and sea moss because we were selling sea moss at the time. I taught people how to make sea moss gel, how to figure out what sea moss actually is, things like that. So overall, just throughout my time of healing, I wanted to learn what I've been learning, but also teach and implement it and show other people that they can do it too. Because throughout our journeys, like everyone who's here, if you're here at the Be the Butterfly Effect conference, and if you're here at the Thriving Gut, then that means that you are here and we are all in alignment. We all are here for our total health, our total health, our body, soul, vibration. I'm going to keep going back to those words, our body, soul, vibration. So, and me, if you're into life path numbers, I'm a life path 7, meaning I'm forever a student and forever a teacher. So as I'm learning things, I want to make sure I'm able to like showcase it and teach it to somebody else, because then you can go off and you could be great in that in your own area within that realm. So anyways, fast forward to 2022, I became certified in nutrition through Dr. T. Colin Campbell at Cornell University. Also, I was pregnant in 2021 and I gave birth to my son in 2022. Again, another successful unassisted home birth. During that time, also just being, the student teacher that I am, we wanted to also develop some sort of like a mobile app, just because we are in the age of technology. And I have a background in engineering and technology, so tech does come fairly easy to me. So I developed a mobile app. It was called the Vegan Currency app. And it was a place where we put recipes and just different plant-based resources to really give people, again, another one-stop shop. Also co-authored a book, Why Dairy is Scary, created green smoothie courses, like the whole nine. Now, fast forward to today, 2023, I launched my current company, Body Soul Vibration blog and shop. And this is really like a passion project for me. Like this shirt, Goddess of Love, because I always say I am a goddess of love. Like we are here to spread and to encourage love. So this can be found on my shop as well as a poetry book that I wrote, The Symphony of Self, and that really goes into the aspect of your body and soul vibration. But yeah, so that's a little bit about me. So we're going to continue on in the conversation. And as of today, I'm still offering plant-based goods and services to the community, as well as, teaching as much as that I can, and hoping that it sticks and it lands with somebody. Because at the end of the day, while we're on this journey, we only have one body, okay? Like we're here to honor our essence, honor our soul's journey, but we only have one vessel. So it's very important to protect the vessel and to, make sure that we're in total alignment. So we're here and we can actually fulfill these purposes and these goals and these things that we have that we want to fulfill while we're on this earth. And also just another like fact, just like from a science standpoint. So in the medical field today, so if something is discovered and there are medical articles and journals published on that specific topic, on average, it's been taking 17 years for that topic to go from the published journal to within the medical practice. So that's a very long time of just kind of being in a gray area. So that's another reason for why I like to talk about these things, because yes, doctors do know about the importance of the gut, and we're going to talk about that today. However, it may not be in their practice as of right now. So that's not a thing on the doctor. It's just the current energy and mindset that we're in. It's kind of hard to get from publication to practice in today's world. So moving forward, today, we are going to learn about the gut, okay? We're going to learn about why it's important, what creates a healthy and unhealthy gut environment. We're going to learn how to feed the gut, and we're going to actually learn what that actually means. We're going to learn basically how to take control of your body. So additional key takeaways from today. I hope everyone feels empowered. I hope everyone feels like they have a blueprint, and I have actionable steps for you for a thriving gut. So I definitely encourage screenshots. I encourage taking as many notes as possible. I will be at the conference all day at the expo booth after, so feel free to come in, pop in, and we could talk as well. But yeah, so if there's nothing else, now that I know that everybody can hear me, let's get started and talk about the gut. Okay, great. So guys, the gut. What is the gut? What does that mean? And why do I keep hearing about it? And like literally this word gut has been being thrown around over the past couple of years, but it makes sense why. So the gut is a broad and expansive community of microorganisms that live within us. Ideally, they're supposed to be living in harmony, living in balance, and living with a purpose. Okay, so that community is called the gut microbiota, right? But the genetic code of the community is referred to as the microbiome. Now, The gut primarily resides, like the gut microbiome, it primarily resides within your colon or your large intestine, and you'll hear those two terms being used interchangeably. So the large intestine is the one that's on the outside, and the small intestine is on the inside, if you're looking at the picture right there. But so the gut microbiome does primarily reside within the colon. However, you do see traces of it within the small intestines and also throughout your entire digestive system, you know, your esophagus, your stomach, the entire system, right? So now, in general, there are 5 types of microorganisms that live within you. However, within the colon itself, most of those are bacteria. So the bacteria, most of them are good, you know, if your gut is in alignment, and they're trying to help us, okay? Some other microorganisms within us, you'll hear like yeast and fungi. Sometimes those get a bad rep just because if you hear yeast, you're like, oh, yeast infection, you know what I mean? And sometimes it gets a bad rep, but many of the fungi and the yeast are actually here to help us. You'll also find viruses within you. Again, sometimes that gets a bad rep because you'll hear like influenza, E. coli, salmonella, right? But there's still a whole bunch of other viruses that live within you that's important for your actual like gut diversity, and a balanced gut. And it's necessary to actually keep everything in harmony. Now, what's not good for you are parasites. So those are literally nature's thieves. They steal the energy from the host. They remain undetected, and they don't offer any type of benefit. Okay, so, but back to bacteria, because we're talking about the thriving gut. So we will be talking mostly about the bacteria today. So and it's crazy because so we carry 39 trillion microorganisms within our colon. Okay, now 39 trillion, like what does that even mean? That just sounds like a huge number, but what does that mean? So I wanted to break it down so everyone could like envision this. All right, so let's all envision, let's go mind travel right now. Let's go to the northern part of Canada where we just have vast clear skies, you know? So we're in the vast clear sky, it's nighttime, and we're looking at the Milky Way. Now, we already know the Milky Way has so many different stars. We see every single star in the Milky Way, right? Now, 39 trillion, take that same view of every single star in the Milky Way and multiply that by 100, okay? That's how many microorganisms of bacteria are living within your colon. So literally, like, our body is it's multiple galaxies. Like, it's so cool to think of it like that, right? It's an entire ecosystem within itself. And that's why it's so important to consider it in your total mind, body, soul, and your total vibration. So now the gut. The gut is really here to promote a healing community and biodiversity. It's a magical community with amazing healing powers. The gut microbiome system, it basically thrives on balance and harmony. So inside of us, like, there are many species of bacteria out there, but inside of us, we can have from 300 to over 1,000 species of bacteria within us. So really, the more diverse the species are within your gut, the more harmony and balance that you will, ultimately have. And just a fun fact, just from like a timeline standpoint. So before like 2006, there was really not that much information on the different species within the gut because we were still using like Petri dishes, and it was like super ancient, super old school. Now, after 2006, science made huge discoveries and was able to like identify like over 15,000 species that can possibly, live within our gut microbiome. Now, it was like between the years of like 2015 and 2020, there are about 13,000 papers. The topic of the gut were established in that short amount of time, 5 years. Like, that's how much science was going into understanding the gut, because before 2006, we really had no idea what was going on. So, but a crazy thing is that, so between that time of 2015 and 2020, about 80% of the research on the papers that were done on this topic over the last 40 years was done in that short amount of time. So today, science has discovered a lot more species, about 36,000 species, but there's like so much more research to be done. Like we're literally just like at the surface of this magical healing community of the gut and what that actually means. So we are literally at the beginning of a huge breakthrough in medicine. So let's talk about the gut and digestion. So the gut microbiome is actually critically involved in the digestive functions. It works as a team to unpack your food and allows you to actually extract the nutrients that you actually need. Now, not every microbe within your gut eats the same food. Okay, so there's some food that feeds on the good bacteria. There's some food that feeds on the bad bacteria. So each dietary choice that we're making is literally empowering a specific group of microbes. And that's really important. For example, if you permanently remove a food group, the microbes that thrive on that food will starve into extinction. So for example, when I ditched dairy, I starved the bacteria and the microbes that were literally feeding off of those animal proteins. And now they're no longer existing in my gut. So and it's really interesting because these microbes, they procreate so quickly that a food choice that's made in 24 hours will alter the evolution of 50 generations of microbes. So like literally every single bite counts, okay? It only takes one bite. Like I said, we only have one body, so we're literally controlling the health of our body in every single bite. You control what you bite, so you control the makeup of your microbiome. So just in general, healthy bacteria in the gut, it helps to reduce the inflammation and just promote that health and that balance that we're all striving to get towards, right? But unhealthy foods, they feed on the unhealthy microbes, they create compounds and they inflame our gut. And like I said before, within 24 hours, the evolution of 50 generations of that microbe could start to take place. So it's really, really, really important just to be mindful, of the things that we eat and the things that we're putting into our body. So think of the gut as the command center, okay? So the gut is also intertwined with our entire system, from our immunity, our metabolism, our hormonal imbalances, our cognition, our gene expression, everything. So one thing that I want you to take away is that an optimal gut is full of diversity of microbes, okay? So a gut is full of diversity of microbes, and that is an optimal gut. So we have a question. So now that, yes, Destiny, yes. Exactly. So now that we talked about the beautiful, beautiful, magical kingdom and ecosystem of the gut, let's kind of get into what an unharmonized gut is, or dysbiosis, okay? So dysbiosis is the loss of harmony and balance within the gut. And honestly, if you live in America today, you have some sort of a dysbiosis going on within your gut. Like even me, I know, even though I'm in my plant-based journey, my gut is not at its optimal. And I know that because it's a journey. It's functioning optimally. It's like the best that I've ever seen in my life. However, I know that there are things that I can be doing to improve the diversity, like, maybe going to another country and seeing the fruits and vegetables that they have there, so it's a whole story. But anyway, so dysbiosis is the loss of harmony and the balance within the gut, okay? So damage or microbial disruptions it causes you to lose that diversity, and in the process, you see higher proportions of inflammation of the inflammatory microbes emerge, and it's what we just talked about. If you feed the bad bacteria, they will continue to multiply. So essentially, throughout that process of dysbiosis, the good stuff will start to fade and fall away, and the not so good stuff will start to flood your gut. Okay, I hope everything is making sense for everyone so far. Okay, great. So dysbiosis and its impact. Basically, it leads to something that's called leaky gut, okay? And honestly, most people in this country have some form of a leaky gut just based off of the numbers and where we are in the current climate. But it's okay because we're able to to fix that and plug that gut up, basically. That's not the right way to say it, but I'm coining it, right? We're gonna plug your guts, guys. Okay, anyways. So what leaky gut is, basically the colon wall is like no longer protected by this healthy community of the anti-inflammatory bugs, and it's resulting in damage to like your gut lining or your colon wall. So this increases intestinal permeability, meaning now we're opening like the floodgates of that gut lining. And things that are only supposed to be within the gut are now going into the blood. And this is known as leaky gut. So leaky gut, it leads to the spillage of the bacterial endotoxins into the bloodstream, which I just mentioned, but that causes inflammation throughout the body. And it's just, it can literally range from low grade, not life-threatening, all the way up to like a life-threatening, shock, multi-organ failure, sepsis, like it can range. So that's why it's really important to just be mindful of our gut health and our gut diversity. Now, this bacterial endotoxemia, it has been linked to so many different diseases, and we're gonna talk about those as well. But coronary heart disease, congestive heart failure, type 2 diabetes, Alzheimer's, non-alcoholic fatty liver, so much things. But I'm gonna show you guys a list, and I encourage you to just take a screenshot of that list. So overall, gut diversity and total health have to be in alignment. So if the gut has great diversity and it's healthy, the good bacteria will always suppress the bad. So regardless of what bad bacteria tries to come into your system, because you're creating this healthy environment, this diverse gut environment, that good bacteria will always suppress the bad. So that's the beauty of how powerful the gut is. And also, just like in terms of like eating and just like being mindful of what you eat, like a properly nourished gut, it has the microbes that actually extract everything that we need from the food and nothing that we don't. A properly nourished gut will signal to us when we need to stop eating. So you need to listen to that signal, and it'll also promote a natural metabolic balance. So there's no need to count calories. There's no need to put yourself on some like religious restrictive diet. You know what I'm saying? You just need to diversify your gut. And we're going to talk about what that actually means when we start talking about the solution. And again, on the flip side, if the gut is damaged and there aren't enough good guys, like we kept talking about, the bad guys will multiply and they will become stronger and they will overpower and cause severe inflammation. And it may get to a point where your body is no longer able to fight and you fall victim to a disorder or disease. And you may even end your life sooner than what your soul desired your lifetime should have been. So these are just all things just to keep in perspective. Like I said, every bite counts. So feel free to take a screenshot of this. These are some internal and external symptoms associated with dysbiosis. Internally, you could go through bloating, food sensitivities, food allergies, diarrhea, constipation, mucus in the stool. There's more to this list, but this is just, some high level items that a lot of people do go through currently today in this country. Some external symptoms associated: mood imbalances, brain fog, fatigue, weakness, bad breath, sinus congestion. So take a screenshot and we're going to continue. So in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, hope you got your screenshot. Now let's talk about the gut and immunity, guys. Okay, so cool fact, but 70% of our immune system actually lives within our gut. So the gut immune relation is super, 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 super important. A healthy gut microbiota, it translates into an empowered and a strong immune system that optimally functions and it's able to identify a threat. It goes to where that threat is and it gets rid of it. So the two of them cannot be separated. If you're talking about your immunity, you're talking about your gut. If you hurt one, you hurt the other, because they're in constant communication. So that's just really cool to just, make those correlations from even just from like, different immune related like issues that people are going through and conditions that people are going through. So, and much of like the evidence between like the gut and the immunity really arose from the different epidemics that we've been facing in this country. So the autoimmune epidemics and the allergic epidemics, even something like asthma. Asthma is super common now, but that has increased tenfold from like the 1960s to 2000. And even certain autoimmune conditions where like, your immune system literally thinks that the body is attacking it and the body is the enemy. Such conditions are like type 1 diabetes, multiple sclerosis, and Crohn's disease. And even those numbers since 1950, each one of those cases has risen like 300%. So it's kind of a shock to like these numbers are completely alarming. But like I said, now that we're learning and understanding more about the gut, now we're able to take this information of enhancing the gut diversity and hoping to prevent, reverse, and just completely, prevent and reverse a lot of these conditions, or just not even like get to that point of even getting to that particular condition. So here are some more immune mediated conditions associated with dysbiosis. Like I said, take a screenshot. Food allergies, that was me. Seasonal allergies, that was me. Like so much. I know people with lupus, Crohn's disease, eczema, MS, like there's so many different conditions that are associated with dysbiosis. And again, guys, dysbiosis means that your gut is not in harmony and it's not diverse. Okay, and here are some other conditions that are associated with dysbiosis, from metabolic conditions and also hormonal conditions, type 2 diabetes, chronic kidney disease, gout, to, sexual dysfunctions, prostate cancer, breast cancer, hypothyroid. And a lot of these are super prevalent now, especially in Black and Brown communities as well, and really just like people of color within this country. So, now, I hope you guys got your screenshots, but we're going to keep moving on. So let's talk about the brains of the body. So we previously discussed how the gut is the command center, right? We previously talked about that. So let's get into what that actually means. So it's very common knowledge. Everyone knows that we have a brain in our head, right? But this term of the second brain has been coming up. Has anyone heard of the second brain before? Feel free to leave a comment or anything, or a question or anything. But has anyone actually heard people use, oh, your second brain, or heard that just in passing or via other lectures or anything? Well, it's true. So the second brain really is the gut, but really, okay, Jess has heard it. Awesome, Jess. Really, I consider the gut kind of like the first brain, just because, and mind you guys, I'm not a medical doctor. I haven't been in the lab and doing my own tests, but just from my standpoint, because brain health does start in the gut. So wouldn't that mean that like the gut is the first brain? It's kind of like the chicken and the egg scenario, like what came first? But anyways, we have two brains. We have the brain in our head. We have the brain in our gut. They're in constant communication. So the gut microbes, they actually communicate with our brain using our immune system. Like I said, the immune system is super important. If you talk about the gut, you're talking about your immune system. So it's in constant communication through the release of different neurotransmitters like serotonin and dopamine, or hormones, or other like signaling molecules, right? So, and serotonin and dopamine, they play powerful roles in our mood, our energy levels, our motivation, like all of those things. And another cool fact, so 90% of serotonin, which plays a role in like our mood, everything from anxiety, depression, mental health, all of that, it's produced in our gut. So is the gut really the first brain? Can we just call it the first brain, guys? So that's huge. So our mental health really starts within our gut. So that's like a mouthful to kind of take in. So I really just want everyone to just like resonate and internalize it. And after this presentation, really just meditate on this information. And as well, the other neurotransmitter, dopamine, that's about 50% of that is produced within our gut. Now, in general, the gut produces more than 30 neurotransmitters. So mental health conditions like we were just talking about, depression, anxiety, those all emerge when we have a problem in our gut. So at the end of the day, everyone has free will. As a human being, you have free will, okay? So you get to choose what you put into your mouth, you get to choose what you swallow, and all of those choices will ultimately determine the health of your microbiome and throughout your body, okay? So, just be mindful. I come from a standpoint of love, the goddess of love. I'm just here to share the information that was shared to me, and there is no judgment. There is nothing from me because I'm just a messenger. But just be mindful of what we're putting into our body, because like we said, every single bite counts, okay? And here are just some other neurological conditions that are associated with dysbiosis. So take a screenshot if you must, just so you know, like fibromyalgia, schizophrenia, Parkinson's disease. I've had people in my family who suffered from schizophrenia. I'm sure on this list, there's somebody in here who knows someone who's going through a certain condition. So definitely take a screenshot, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, hope you got it. And just know that all of these conditions are associated with dysbiosis. So now that we got through some of the science, guys, let's talk about transforming our health from the inside out, okay? But first, I kind of got you. But first, let's just kind of discuss America's realities, okay? So basically, America, I'm American, so I live this, I breathe this, I know this from firsthand experience. We are overfed, we are undernourished, and we are hyper medicated, okay? But a lot of this makes sense as to why. So just even thinking about, over the last 100 years, or I guess 120 years at this point, because we're in 2024, but since like the 1900s to, the 2000s, science has really been focused on creating antibiotics and other drugs to treat a lot of these diseases and disorders that have been popping up. So even just from like a medical school standpoint, it makes sense why medical school curriculums are focused on learning these drugs and learning how to treat people with the drugs rather than focusing on, the source, like the gut and the actual nutrition and things like that. So it makes sense. And like I said before, it does take 17 or so years on average to go from, a published science paper, peer-reviewed science published paper to actual practice. But just in general, right now, where we currently are in America, more than 72% of Americans are overweight. 40% of Americans carry about 30 pounds or more extra baggage around their waist. We spend most of our money on healthcare, but the life expectancy of an American is declining, and it's declining year by year by year. 60% of Americans from the age 20 or older are using prescription drugs. So literally, like we're literally in a war on drugs right now. But it's not street drugs; it's medical drugs. From your actual MD or pharmacy. Like I said, that's not to discredit the medical doctor because that's their training. You can't discredit them because they're also the messengers as well. And they're trying to treat people the best that they can with what they were given. So this is not to point your finger at your doctor. This is really to internalize and take control of your own health. So it doesn't have to get to that point of being on 5+ medications, because that number has doubled over the last 15 to 20 years as well. And just in general, there are about 269 million antibiotic prescriptions in the United States each year. Okay, and the antibiotics are literally disseminating our gut microbiota. So it's not helping the thriving gut, in other words. But unfortunately, in today's world, we're living in the big pharma energy. They run the studies and they control the research. And that's just where we are. Like there's a lot of bad science out there and mass manipulation of the media, because the people who are controlling it, have other agendas. But we're not going to get into that because now we know how to combat it. And just again, so seven out of the top 10 causes of death in America, again, to America's scary reality, are caused by lifestyle. So heart disease, cancer, chronic, COPD, stroke, Alzheimer's, diabetes, kidney disease, right? So the other 3 are like, from car accidents or just random stuff, but 7 out of the 10 causes of death in America are from lifestyle. But we're living in a world today where people are ignoring lifestyle as the therapeutic option, and they choose the medication as a primary treatment. But we are in a time where that shift is taking place. So, over the next 10 to 50 years, lifestyle, and I'm just saying it, I'm going to just put it out there, lifestyle will be the first thing that people think of and not the medication. Because at the end of the day, we're ignoring the cause, and we'll never get to the root of the problem by doing so. So here are just some of the numbers per the CDC in 2016 of the actual amount of deaths that happened due to those different 7 top 10 causes of, and for each of them, changing your lifestyle and creating that diverse gut environment and microbiome was able to either prevent, reduce, or reverse these certain conditions. Okay. So now, one of the biggest lifestyle factors here in America is literally how we eat. Okay. Like, yes, we're in a hyper medicated energy right now, but at the end of the day, we still can control what we eat. But that's drastically changed over the last 100 years. Just think of what the great grandparents were eating versus to what we're eating today. The standard American diet, also known as SAD, is calorie rich, it's nutrient poor, it's low in dietary fiber, and it's high in processed sugars. Okay. So literally the standard American diet is literally killing your gut. And while the medications are huge, in this whole epidemic of where we are today in America, and other westernized countries, we must still focus on one of the most important changes over the last 100 years, and that's literally been our diet. And just in today, most of our calories do come from processed foods or animal foods, and very little comes from actually plants and plant-based foods. The average American per year, and this is per the Department of Agriculture, so you could look these numbers up yourself and literally find it from the source. But the average American eats about 23 pounds of pizza per year, 24 pounds of artificial sweeteners, 29 pounds of French fries, and 31 pounds of cheese. And I was one of those Americans prior to me transitioning. I literally was that person, but just seeing those numbers, I'm like, damn, I literally ate a whole baby of, like a baby's 29 pounds, a toddler. I literally ate 29 pounds of French fries. Like, what? And 23, me personally, I probably ate like 40 pounds of pizza. I'm from New York, so I was always eating pizza. But yeah, like these numbers are really like interesting when you actually see it in front of you. So, and also the United States has the highest meat consumption in the world. About 220 pounds of meat is consumed per person per year. So just looking at that from a worldly view, let's just compare it to, the continent of India. So so compared to India, Americans will eat 32 times more meat for every single time a person in India puts it on their plate. So literally, like, we are overfed. and unfortunately, many of these fad diets, and we'll talk about that soon, many of these fad diets are literally trying to convince us to double down on this trend. I'm going to go a little quicker, guys, just because we're running out of time and we have more information to talk about. So in general, like I said, the fad diets, so some of these diets are like the paleo diet or the ketogenic diet. So the ketogenic diet is literally like a carnivore diet. It's all animal based. There's no plants at all. But even from the science of that, in less than 24 hours, participants saw drastic changes in their gut microbiome. They saw an emergence of inflammatory bacteria, high levels of saturated fat and animal protein. They're literally starving the healing microbes, and they're ultimately shifting away from like a health and towards disease. And one thing that a lot of these fad diets are promoting are like, you know, low carb, high fat diets. It helps you lose weight. You're going to look great. You're going to look awesome. You're going to lose all the weight that you want. However, you may look great on the outside, but your insides are literally rotting. So you'll get that short-term gain of that picture of like, oh, I look good now. Look, I just lost all this weight. Or, oh, I can see my, you know, my muscles and things like that. However, this short-term gain will equal a long-term pain. And just in general, like bodybuilders as well, like the life expectancy of a professional bodybuilder is like 47 years. And shoot, for me, I know at 47, like that's young. What? So it's like, you know, just a lot of these fad diets are not based off of good science. So I just want everyone just to be mindful of all the different propaganda and things that you're seeing in the media, and just understand, regardless of what everyone is talking about, we need to diversify our gut. And the key to a diversified gut is fiber. Okay, so guys, this is the solution. It's fiber. Okay, and so like, what is fiber? So fiber is a part of the plant cellular structure. It only comes from plants. Fiber is a complex carbohydrate. So when, you know, even when folks are talking about low carb diets, they're mainly talking about, hopefully they're talking about refined carbs, because refined carbohydrates strip the fiber, but fiber is a complex carbohydrate. So it's important just to understand what the two actually mean. So just because someone's saying carbs, don't automatically think, oh, wait, but I know fiber's carbs. Is that bad for me? No, they're talking about refined carbs, not complex carbohydrates. Anyways, so fiber is really cool because like when you swallow it, it remains untouched throughout your entire digestive system, really until it gets to your colon or your gut. And that's when the molecules, well, the microbes within your gut start feeding on that fiber. So by the time it gets to your colon, the same molecule that went into your mouth is what it looks like for the most part once it reaches your colon. So that's just really cool to think about it like that. All fiber is not the same. Again, fiber feeds your gut. That is the solution. That is the solution to a diverse gut microbiome, is fiber. Fiber is not the same, so the source of it is very important. So I'm sure you'll see fiber being promoted in certain cereals or different like processed breakfast biscuits or whatever has you, but that's not the same fiber that you'll find in like, you know, quinoa or like wild rice or some lentils or chickpeas or something, you know what I'm saying? It's different fiber, okay? And in general, there's so many like edible plants on our planet. There's about what, 300,000 plants within our planet that's actually edible. So we have a lot of room to diversify our gut. It's really just like finding out where those plants are, how to get to them and things like that. And just in short, in terms of fiber, you may hear soluble fiber and insoluble fiber. Fiber is a very complex topic, but we've been able to kind of like bring it into like a more basic level of understanding. So basically, if you submerge the fiber or that plant inside water, if it dissolves, it's soluble. If it doesn't dissolve, it's insoluble. However, most plants today do contain a mixture of both. So like I said, dietary fiber, that's the carb that you want, okay? It's a complex carb. So basically once that food goes into your colon, the fiber is broken down and the gut bacteria unleashes this awesome effect. It's called short chain fatty acids. So, and it's one of the most healing nutrients that we have in nature. Basically, they make the colon more acidic, and it changes, and this change prevents the growth of inflammatory or pathogenic bacteria, so the bad guys. So the more fiber you eat, the more short chain fatty acids are created within your gut microbiome ecosystem, and it's able to literally like annihilate all of the bad guys. So basically, like, if you diversify your gut, you're starting to train the gut and create that momentum for total wellness. Again, like I said, the dietary fiber is the carb you want. However, in this country, in America, less than 3% of Americans are actually getting the recommended minimum daily amount of fiber intake. So America is fiber deficient. A lot of people are always talking about the protein, and protein has kind of been like the end all be all, like, nutrient that people are always talking about. Okay, well, where am I going to get my protein? Where am I going to get my protein? But really, guys, we really need to be focusing on the fiber. So we are already in an environment where 97% of us are consuming an excess amount of protein. And at the end of the day, all protein comes from plants. Think about it, the cow is not drinking cow's milk to get the protein or eating meat to get the protein. They're eating the grass and the hay and the things on the floor. Excuse me. All protein actually comes from plants. So instead of thinking about where am I going to get my protein, let's think about, is this diversifying my gut? Okay. All right. So in general, also to note, the daily recommended intake of fiber is also pretty low. Historically, our ancestors and societies who really haven't been westernized, because there are still societies today who are not westernized, they consume at least 100 grams of fiber per day in their food, and their life expectancy is long, for a human. While in America, our average American is getting like 15 grams of fiber per day. So even our daily minimum intake of fiber recommendations, like from the FDA, from the government, is still very low compared to like the actual goals that we should strive for. Okay, so now I know we just talked about a mouthful, and we still have some more to talk about in the next 8 minutes. So I'm going to go by pretty quickly. So let's just kind of recap and like regather. So the gut obviously is a major key to wellness. We need to focus on a diverse gut. Dietary fiber, it only comes from plants. So sea vegetables, sea moss, dulse, nori, bladderwrack, kelp. Those are sea vegetables that are commonly out here now. Legumes, beans, like chickpeas, lentils, split peas, black-eyed peas, lima beans, all of the beans, whole grains, like, whole grain pastas and whole grain, quinoa, whole grain oats, fruits, vegetables, nuts, seeds. So dietary fiber only comes from plants, guys. Okay. So like we said, fiber feeds our gut microbiome and the good bacteria. And as you start consuming higher doses of fiber, you'll be able to see positive changes in your actual health. Again, an unbalanced gut leads to the lack of diversity, and it's unable to kill enough of the dangerous pathogens. Okay. So like I said, most Americans are fiber deficient. So if you suffer from any of the things that we've talked about already today, chances are you are fiber deficient. So the next practical step, guys, is to eat more plants, okay? So take a screenshot of this. As you eat more plants, you have a fiber-rich lifestyle, and that leads to a thriving gut. It's that simple. I just went to the comments. Hey, Kim, New York in the building. Hello. Yes. Quaker oats, good fiber. I don't use Quaker oats, but as long as it's a whole grain, like just focus on the whole, like forget the brand and just look at it. Is it using whole grain? So that comes down to reading the ingredients for Jess, who just asked that question. But yeah, eat more colors, create that diversity, and help your body help you, okay? So take a screenshot of that, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay, great. Benefits of plant-based eating. I'm not going to kind of go through this because I have some other things that I want to talk to you guys about. But yeah, everything that we talked about, if you start incorporating more plants, you'll see reduced inflammation, you'll enhance your life expectancy and longevity, improved digestion, better sleep, better cognition, all of the things, right? So a simple way to consume actually more plants, and one of my favorite ways, is to eat smoothies. So even like if you start your day with a smoothie for a nutritious boost, instead of starting your day with coffee, start your day with a smoothie. You know what I'm saying? You could blend all the different fruits and vegetables that you want. This is a smoothie that I made. I had sea moss gel, I had frozen fruit, dates, coconut water, ginger powder, hemp seeds. But you could put anything in your smoothie, like even certain like tea blends that I have or like herbs, I'll throw those into my smoothie. So I like elderberries a lot. You know, it's really good for my immune system. So I'll throw elderberries into my smoothie, or I'll throw like nettle leaf or alfalfa leaf or red raspberry leaf, whatever. So smoothies are a really, really great way to consume more plants. Take a screenshot of this. These are simple CMOS smoothies that literally I've created so many times at this point. Most of the time I don't add ice to my smoothies, but a lot of people do like adding ice to it. So take a screenshot of that. And then I'm going to show you how to actually make a CMOS smoothie in this next video. Let's see, is it playing? Oh, I have to hit play. Here we go.
Today we will demonstrate a simple sea moss smoothie using clean sea moss, kale, a banana, a few dates, coconut water, and ice. Prior to adding the smoothie ingredients, I made sea moss gel. So I left 16 ounces of gel in the blender before adding the rest of the ingredients. Here I show you.
So guys, I'm just going to fast forward just because time is not on our side right now. But yeah, so we add the ingredients, blend it up. And I can give you guys the link to this video as well. But yeah, this is the same smoothie that I'll eat and I'll give also to the babies as well. So let's just keep going to the next slide. Okay, so another way to diversify your gut is to remove dairy. So dairy is scary. Literally, it weakens the ones who love me. And this is something that I came up with. Hi, my name is Dairy. I weaken the ones who love me and I'm loved by many, because literally dairy is addictive, right? The truth about dairy is that it just promotes a lot of the things that we've kind of already talked about. It creates an unbalanced gut, and it's just not good for us, regardless of how you feel. The science is there, and I'll give you some resources of people to look to research in the whole dairy conversation as well. Some of the myths that I just wanted to debunk about dairy is that dairy is strong for bones. It actually leads to osteoporosis because it's literally removing the calcium from your bone. Dairy is good for calcium. Actually, calcium comes from green leafy vegetables, and the dairy is like the middleman of that calcium. So just go right to the source of that vegetable, and because calcium is widely distributed within the plant kingdom. And myth 3, we need dairy for vitamin D. Actually, vitamin D, which is actually technically is not really a vitamin, it's a hormone, but it's created within us due to sun exposure. This is one of my friends, Dr. Milton Mills, and he talks about
right. Human cells should be in a quiet phase.
So I'll share this link with you guys so you understand
dairy
it.
proteins that start to stimulate these cells to try and grow.
But let's just keep going because we only have 2 minutes left.
Does is it actually can cause the cells to become cancerous. In particular.
Okay, so like I said, I'll share that link with everyone who wants to know more about dairy, but literally just look up Dr. Milton Mills. He has so many videos on YouTube, so many interviews, and he talks about this stuff all the time. One thing that it's really important for us to get into is to, yes, please link it. Yes, I will. Is to understand labels and to read labels. So this is just like a diagram I created just to show how to locate, where dairy is actually located. But yes, let's keep going. Most importantly, it's important to read our labels. It will say it contains milk. So, and dairy sometimes can be hidden in other terms, such as casein or whey. Those are all proteins that come from dairy. Okay, now guys, let's talk about the transition. And we may run a few minutes over time, so I hope everyone still stays for the few minutes, but let's talk about the transition. So tips on diversifying your gut and incorporating more plants. We already talked about smoothies. Like I said earlier, let's replace that bacon, egg, and cheese, or those frosted flakes, with maybe oats, whole grain oats. And remember to read our labels and to read the ingredients of that particular item that you're eating, if it's not like, from the source, like the fruit or the vegetable. So whole grain, we want to stay away from the grains that are not whole, because it's stripping the fiber away. The most important thing is to remember to keep the fiber intact, right? For snacks, we could eat fruits. We could build Buddha bowls for lunch or for dinner. We can make colorful salads. Like I said, eat the rainbow. Even me, like I love drinking herbal teas, because there's a lot of herbs out there that are helping me to heal the ailments that I suffered through in my history, and for my gut. So really quick, this is a really cool way to think of like a Buddha bowl. So like they're really a really great way to incorporate that variety and incorporate all the different colors that you want. I love bowls personally. You can literally add anything to your bowl. You can start with a salad, a leafy green or whatever. If you want kale or collards, whatever, you can add. And mind you, like I said, all protein does come from plants. However, there are certain plants that have more protein. And since we are still in the mindset of like, where's the protein coming from? I still like to show people, like this is a protein packed bowl, even though, it's always going to be protein packed. But anyways, you can have your lentils, your chickpeas, your split peas, whatever, your quinoa, add all the different vegetables, your sweet potatoes, your bell peppers, your, sweet onions, whatever. Throw that all into the bowl, add some good dressing on there that you like, and bam, now you literally are eating the diversity that your gut needs to continue to create the good environment and the good bacteria to help fight off the bad bacteria. Take a screenshot of this as well. Hope you guys did. Moving on. Take a screenshot of this. So like I said, since we are still in the energy of protein, I wanted to just call out like these different meals that you can create, and just show that, yes, this is a protein packed, meal that you can, eat. So take a screenshot of this. All right. In 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, next. So one last thing, guys, before I finish, because we are 2 minutes over time, but I will be done in the next 2 minutes. So I have partnered, because I talk about this all the time. I talk about eating plants. I'm always in the search for different solutions for people, especially because we live in a very busy time where you may have multiple jobs or multiple hustles. You may have multiple kids. You're going here, there, and everywhere else. And sometimes it's really hard to incorporate all the fruits and vegetables that we need. So I've partnered with the company. It's called Juice Plus. They're really amazing. So what I like about them is that all of the products that come out of the Juice Plus company, for one, it's always tested and verified. It's always plant-based. It's all plant-based foods. But what I like about them is that, like, obviously nature cannot be duplicated, right? But a lot of the supplements that we do see on the market today, they are made with like synthetic and like isolated ingredients or isolated vitamins or isolated minerals. But with Juice Plus, literally they take the whole fruit or the whole vegetable and they'll take it right when it's like at its most ripened stage, within a couple of hours of its like most ripened stage. And they do a process where like they'll like freeze it. They'll basically just make this beautiful product that keeps the actual nutrients like intact for us. So by the time we are eating it and taking it and putting it into our smoothie or eating the capsule, whatever, or eating the gummy, by the time we have it, it's still all or most of the ingredients that we need from that particular whole food. Because a lot of the vitamins out there today, it's using synthetic ingredients. So that's what I like about Juice Plus. We could talk about that if you're interested in like learning basically how to like bridge the gap of eating more fruits and vegetables, because we are in a time where like it's very, very busy. Come to my booth and we could talk about it. One cool thing about Juice Plus is that so they're so powerful. For one, there's so many studies on them, and you could just go to the website and literally look at all the different studies. But the National Olympic Training Facility in Charlotte, North Carolina, this is like their standard for all of their athletes. So all of their athletes have some sort of a regimen that uses Juice Plus within their regimen. So it's like really cool because, like I said, it's a way for people to transition to eating more plants because we are in this time of just like being busy and just everything. So I love the company. I've partnered with them. I've seen so many different companies in my time of being in this like world of being plant-based and talking about gut health, but they actually like are true to what they're actually, you know, giving you. So like I said, you can talk to me about that at my booth. Here are some additional resources. So Fiber Fueled, this is a really good book to learn about fiber and really go into the science. It's from Dr. B. He also has a cookbook as well. So if you need like recipes and stuff, it's like, this thing is massive, okay? Massive. And, you know, like just being the people you are, like add your own flavor, you know, you don't have to follow it like word for word, but like just know to add the diversity and don't restrict yourself. Don't make this a religion for yourself. Just make this a lifestyle and have fun with it. And like, if you have kids, they'll have fun with it. Like my daughter, she loves making smoothies with me. Like, she's like, oh, mommy, can I make the smoothie? And like, literally when it's smoothie time, the kids know, they come right to the seat and everyone's eating their smoothie or drinking their smoothie. Ditchdairy.info. If you're not looking for like the hardcover book, I do have a free download of like a shortened version of that. Obviously my website, Body Soul Vibration. Another great doctor, Dr. Michael Greger, his website is nutritionfacts.org. So take a screenshot of this as well, guys. Dr. T. Colin Campbell, he's the doctor who certified me in plant-based nutrition. His website is nutritionstudies.org. Like I said, Dr. Milton Mills, he talks about this stuff all the time. Dr. Neil Bernard. These are just really great people who are on the forefront of this information and who are, you know, who've been through the medical system, who are in the laboratories, but just, you know, additional people. And most of them have books as well. So again, thank you take a screenshot, but thank you so much for joining me today in the Thriving Gut. Not sorry, because I hate saying sorry, but my apologies for the mishap in the technology that it's starting later. But we figured it out and we got through it. So thank you for joining me today. And I really hope this information has helped you in understanding what the Thriving Gut even means and how you can start making, you know, changes like literally right now. You could literally go into your kitchen and just make a smoothie. So thank you so much. And if you want to talk to me, definitely come into my exhibitors booth. I'll be here. Oh, I'm looking at the comments. Thank you guys. Yes. Okay. And like, listen, if I can learn this, everyone can learn this. You know, like, it's not eat diversity. Let's diversify our plates. Okay. So one more thing, one thing that you can do with like your family, it's like, okay, guys, let's count how many colors we have on our plate, right? Okay, so again, thank you again. This is Shayna Maud from Body Soul Vibration. Come talk to me at the booth or find me somewhere on the internet. And again, thank you, Dr. Monaco, for allowing me to present to the community. And I hope everyone has a blessed day. And I'll see you guys at another presentation because there's one literally about to start right now. So thank you so much. And yeah, if you have any questions, come talk to me. All right, bye.